Hey friends, welcome back to Mimi's Mixed Bag. If this is your first video of mine, thank you for stopping by, and I hope you like what you see. Today I'm bringing you another original idea, and I was inspired by this really cute Dollar Tree tote bag that says Stars, Stripes, and Summer Nights. If you saw my little dish towel project last week, it's the same thing. It's got two graphics, so you can get two projects out of this $1 bag. Now you're going to need some scrap cardboard. I had one piece, but I didn't have a big enough piece, so I ended up just grabbing one of the foam boards from Dollar Tree. I had thrifted a big bag of white wooden beads that I'm going to create a hanger with, but that's strictly optional. You could just use jute twine. And I am going to finish out part of my project using some jute twine. I think this actually come from Walmart. It's a little bit thicker, but it's strictly optional as well if it matches your bag. And you're going to need some fabric, any kind of patriotic fabric or even solid color felt, whatever you can come up with for your back piece. And I twisted up a little bit of a red ribbon for a bow, and we're going to hot glue it all together. Now I have a seam ripper here because the bottom of my shopping tote is stitched with thread, so I'm going to very carefully take that string out because I don't want that string to show on the front of my project. My first scrap piece actually just fits perfectly over my words. This is what I'm going to use as my guide, and I'm going to cut about a good inch or more all the way around my square, so I'll have enough to hot glue around the back. Alright, I've got my bag cut up now. I've got my thread out of the bottom, and honestly, if you kind of rub it after you take the string out, I don't think anybody would ever know that was a stitched line there unless you pointed it out. Alright, now I'm going to flip my bag over here, and this is my cardboard. If you recall the dish towel project last week, it's pretty much the same thing. There's no right or wrong way to hot glue this on the cardboard. You just want it to be as smooth as possible on the front. You can just hot glue one side at a time, whatever you want to do, as long as it's neat. And like I said, this is the way I'm probably going to do it. Fold up the triangle and hot glue it, and do each side, and it kind of gives you a mitered corner so it's nice and neat. Okay, I've got my top little sign done, and just going to show you the back here, how it's hot glued. Alright, now I'm ready to make my back mat for my sign. Now, depending on the graphic of your bag, it just depends on how big your top sign is and how big your back mat needs to be. But with mine, it's almost square. This is 11 by 11 and a quarter. But I still think that I'm going to do about a 2-inch border all the way around my sign. Now you could certainly make your mat as big as you wanted it if you wanted a really thick mat for yours, but I like around the 2-inch border on mine. So since mine is not perfectly square, my back piece is going to be about 15 by 16. All right, I've got my mat cut, and I got my fabric cut to size, a good inch or so bigger than the mat, and I'm going to do just like the blue sign. Glue up the corner and then miter the sides in place with the hot glue. As long as it's nice and smooth, it'll be fine. Alright, I've got my mat done now, and you could always finish the back with a piece of felt to make it look nice and neat if you were giving it to someone or something. All it's left is just hot gluing the embellishments on. Here's my blue sign, and I'm just going to center it up on my mat. This is so light that I'm going to just string up some white beads and hot glue it to the back. Super light. This probably doesn't even weigh a pound. And then where the two boards meet, I'm going to take some of this jute twine and trim out my sign. I think that'll give it a nice finished look, and then hot glue a bow right here. So let me add all this stuff to it, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Alright friends, I thought I'd switch it up a little bit and bring it to my front door, but just love how it turned out. I like how the jute twine just kind of ties it together and gives it a little more finished look. And I've mentioned this before about beaded hangers. Anytime you do one of those, make sure you use an even number of beads so that when it splits, it will hang your project evenly. Otherwise, you're going to have that middle bead, and it's really hard to get it to hang straight. So always even numbers. And another thing I love about this is that it's a flat. You could do some of these for every season, and even if the bow gets a little smushed, you could perk it back up since it's wire ribbon. And looking forward to seeing what other tote bags I can find. So I hope you enjoyed this project, and you will take this idea and make it your own. I'll be back next week. Bye-bye.